Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Let me ask you something. Have you ever looked at a woman and wondered, is she actually interested in me, or am I just imagining the signs? You replay the moments in your mind, her eye contact, her laughter, the little comments she made, and somehow you still can't figure out what they really mean. But here's the truth most men never understand. When a woman is genuinely crazy about you, she won't always come right out and say it. Instead, she reveals it through behaviors that are so subtle, so deeply connected to psychology, that only a man who truly understands female behavior can recognize them. Before we get into these signs, make sure you subscribe and like this video, because what I'm about to reveal may completely change the way you see attraction, connection, and the hidden signals women often give without even realizing it. And trust me, once you recognize these hidden signs, you'll never look at female interest the same way again. Now, here's something important to understand. Women often communicate attraction differently than men do. They usually don't express desire in a direct, purely logical way. Attraction is emotional, instinctive, and sometimes even subconscious. She may not even realize she's revealing these signs, but her body language, her tone, her attention, and her reactions can reveal what she truly feels. The first hidden sign that she is deeply attracted to you is not obvious flirting. It's something much deeper, emotional displacement. When a woman begins showing unexpected emotions around you, irritation, jealousy, excitement, or even random laughter, it doesn't always mean she is confused or doesn't know what she wants. Sometimes it means you are affecting her on a deeper emotional level than she expected. Her emotions become unpredictable because you have entered her emotional awareness. She is no longer neutral toward you. Something inside her has been triggered. You'll notice it through the smallest changes. Maybe her eyes become more focused when you speak. Maybe she remembers small details you mentioned weeks ago that you completely forgot about. Maybe she becomes slightly defensive when another woman enters the conversation. These things are not always random. They can be signs that her mind is trying to understand and manage emotions that she did not expect to feel. You see, when a woman has no romantic interest, she is usually calm, polite, and emotionally balanced around you. She may enjoy your company, but there is a certain distance. However, when she becomes strongly attracted, that emotional control can start to change. Her reactions become stronger. Her emotions become more noticeable. Sometimes she may even seem slightly irritated because she is dealing with feelings she is trying to understand. She might not openly admit anything, but her entire energy around you starts to shift. And this is where many men misunderstand women. They often chase the woman who appears completely calm and easy to read, thinking that her kindness means strong interest, while overlooking the woman whose emotions become more intense around them. The truth is, when your presence creates a strong emotional reaction in her, something meaningful is happening internally, even if she has not fully acknowledged it yet. Now, let's move to the second sign, because this one is something most men completely overlook. It's subtle, almost invisible on the surface, but psychologically it can reveal a lot. This sign is unconscious behavioral mimicry. It's the way she naturally begins to mirror your actions, your expressions, your speaking style, and even your body language. And I'm not talking about something fake or intentional. I'm talking about the type of unconscious mirroring that happens when someone feels a strong connection or attraction toward another person. Think about it. Maybe she starts laughing slightly after you laugh. Maybe she tilts her head the same way you do when you're listening. Maybe she starts using phrases you commonly say without even noticing it. These things are often not random. Her subconscious mind begins creating a sense of connection and similarity. It's almost like her brain is saying, I feel connected to this person. I understand him. I want to be closer to his world. This is one of the most interesting psychological patterns behind attraction because it happens naturally, without conscious effort. You may notice it during conversations through small gestures. Maybe you take a sip of your drink, and moments later, she does the same. Maybe you lean forward while explaining something, and she naturally mirrors your posture. Maybe she starts adopting your style of humor or using expressions that sound more like you. These are unconscious behaviors that show your presence is influencing her attention, her reactions, and even the way she interacts. And here's why this is so fascinating. People don't usually mirror everyone they meet. This type of behavior often appears more strongly when someone feels emotionally connected, interested, or mentally engaged with another person. It happens with people who have captured their attention in a way that feels natural, powerful, and difficult to ignore. She feels drawn toward you, and her behavior begins revealing what she may not be saying out loud. The challenge is that most men either misunderstand these signs or completely miss them. They think, she's just copying me, or that's probably just a coincidence. But when you understand human psychology, you begin to notice the difference between simple coincidence and genuine unconscious mirroring. True mirroring is usually consistent, it happens naturally, and it often appears alongside emotional reactions, increased attention, and a stronger desire to connect. Maybe she laughs harder at your jokes than she does with others. Maybe she matches your tone without realizing it. Maybe she naturally moves closer, follows your energy, or responds to you differently than she responds to everyone else. When these patterns appear together, they can reveal a deeper level of interest. And once you understand this, you start noticing things that other people overlook. She may not realize she is doing it. Your friends may never notice it. But these subtle behaviors can reveal a powerful truth about how she feels and how strongly your presence affects her. When you start paying attention to these details, you begin to see a completely different side of attraction. What appears to be a small gesture on the surface can actually reveal a much deeper emotional response underneath. Now, let's talk about something most men completely overlook: the way a woman may test you when she is genuinely interested in you. And to be clear, I'm not talking about childish games, manipulation, or intentional attempts to create problems. I'm talking about subtle psychological moments that naturally reveal your confidence, your character, your emotional control, and the way you handle pressure. When a woman is strongly attracted to a man, she often wants to understand who he really is. She wants to know if he is emotionally stable, if he can handle challenges, if he stays grounded when things become uncomfortable, and if he can remain confident without becoming defensive. You may notice these moments in small interactions. Maybe she makes a playful comment that challenges your ego. Maybe she asks a question about your past to understand your mindset. Maybe she creates a situation where she can see how patient and calm you remain. These moments may seem random, but they can reveal a lot about how she views you. Here is what many men misunderstand. She is not necessarily trying to upset you. She is trying to understand you. Attraction is not only about charm, appearance, or saying the perfect words. It is also about emotional strength, trust, and whether someone feels comfortable and secure around you. A woman wants to know if you can handle yourself when emotions rise. She wants to see if you can remain respectful while still standing confidently in who you are. If a man reacts emotionally, becomes insecure, or loses control easily, it can change the way she experiences the connection. But when a man remains calm, confident, and emotionally balanced, it creates a stronger sense of respect and attraction. You may see this in situations that seem small at first. Maybe she asks your opinion about a controversial topic, just to see if you can handle a different viewpoint without becoming defensive. Maybe she shares something personal, to see if you are someone she can trust. Maybe she jokes with you in a way that slightly challenges you, simply to see how comfortable you are with yourself. These moments may feel like little challenges, but they often reveal important information about emotional compatibility. A woman who has no real interest usually has no reason to invest that kind of attention. She simply stays distant and keeps things surface level. But when she feels emotionally connected, she naturally becomes more curious about your personality, your reactions, and the way you handle different situations. It is her way of discovering whether you are someone she can build a deeper connection with. Here is the truth many men never hear. These moments are not always signs of rejection. Sometimes they are signs that she is paying attention. They show that she is observing, learning, and trying to understand the person behind the attraction. When you recognize these patterns, you stop overthinking every interaction. You stop feeling confused about why she acts a certain way. Instead, you begin to understand the emotions and psychology behind her behavior. If you can remain calm, confident, and emotionally steady when these moments happen, you create something powerful. You show that you are a man who can handle pressure, communicate clearly, and maintain his confidence without needing constant validation. And that is often what separates the men who leave a lasting impression from the men who are quickly forgotten. Now here is something else many men fail to notice, even when it is happening right in front of them. A woman who is deeply interested in you will often begin prioritizing you in ways that are easy to miss. And I'm not talking about obvious actions like canceling every plan for you or constantly saying she wants to be around you. I'm talking about the small, almost invisible ways she begins making you a meaningful part of her world. She starts creating space for you in her thoughts, her routines, and her daily life without even realizing how much she is doing it. She remembers small details you casually mention. She remembers your preferences, your stories, the things that make you laugh, and even little things you may have forgotten you ever told her. This happens because your presence has become important to her. She begins noticing patterns about you and naturally adjusts the way she interacts with you. For example, she might make small changes to her schedule so she can spend more time with you. Not because she feels forced to, but because being around you has become something she genuinely values. Pay attention to the way she communicates with you. It is not only about how often she messages you, it is about the meaning behind those conversations. Does she check in on you? Does she ask thoughtful questions? Does she remember what matters to you? Those small actions can reveal that she is thinking about your feelings and your experiences even when you are not directly in front of her. She begins giving you mental space. And when someone consistently gives you their attention, remembers details about your life, and considers your perspective, it often shows emotional investment. You may also notice this in social situations. She might naturally highlight your achievements around other people. She may make you feel included when you are around her friends or family. She pays attention to your reactions during conversations. She notices whether you feel comfortable, whether you are enjoying yourself, and whether you feel valued. These behaviors are not always planned. They often happen naturally because someone's feelings influence the way they treat you. The deeper psychological truth is that people naturally prioritize what matters most to them. When a woman begins making you an important part of her world, it is often because she feels a stronger emotional connection developing. Most men miss this because they are waiting for dramatic signs. They expect obvious confessions, huge romantic gestures, or direct words. But attraction is often much quieter than that. Sometimes it appears through consistent attention, small choices, and repeated behaviors that reveal where someone's mind naturally goes. You may not notice it immediately, but the way she acts, the way she prioritizes you, and the way she includes you can reveal how important you have become in her life. Recognizing these patterns is important because when a woman begins naturally placing importance on you, it is usually not something she is doing randomly. If she is consistently thinking about your comfort, your reactions, your feelings, and your presence, it shows that you have become someone who matters to her emotionally. She is not just interested in a casual way. She is becoming mentally and emotionally connected to you. And once you understand this, many things that once seemed confusing begin to make sense. Now, let's uncover something else that many men completely miss. When a woman is truly attracted to you, she may also test your emotional loyalty in ways that are so subtle, you may not even recognize them. She is not doing this to manipulate you or create unnecessary drama. Instead, it often comes from a deeper psychological need to understand whether you are someone she can trust, someone who is reliable, and someone who is emotionally safe to become closer to. These tests are usually not obvious. They can appear through simple questions, casual conversations, hypothetical situations, or small comments that reveal how you respond emotionally. For example, she may ask about your previous relationships in a way that seems like simple curiosity, but she may also be paying attention to your honesty, your confidence, and the way you talk about your past. Or she may casually mention another woman, not necessarily to make you jealous, but to observe whether you remain calm, secure, and emotionally controlled. The pattern is what matters. She watches your reactions. She notices your tone. She pays attention to your confidence, your body language, your words, and even the small pauses between your responses. Every little detail can tell her something about your emotional stability. She wants to know if you can stay confident without becoming cold. She wants to see if you can express emotions without becoming overly reactive. She wants to understand if you can handle emotional situations while still maintaining kindness and respect. This is not simply about testing your patience. It is about discovering whether your emotional foundation is strong enough to handle a deeper connection. Because when feelings become stronger, emotional security becomes more important. Another common form of this behavior is subtle boundary testing. She may gently challenge your availability, your attention, or your emotional limits to see how you respond. Do you lose your confidence immediately? Do you become frustrated? Or do you stay calm, grounded, and secure in yourself? Your response reveals a lot. These moments are not always intentional. Many times they happen unconsciously, but they can reveal how she views you and how comfortable she feels with you. Here is the important insight. A woman who has no emotional interest usually will not spend energy analyzing your reactions, your values, or your emotional strength. She simply does not feel invested enough to care. But when a woman is deeply interested, she naturally becomes more aware of who you are. She begins observing your stability, your reliability, your loyalty, and the way you handle different situations. It becomes a hidden language of attraction that many men never learn to understand. Once you recognize these patterns, your entire perspective changes. You stop constantly questioning whether she likes you. You stop assuming every challenge means rejection. Instead, you begin seeing the deeper meaning behind her behavior. These moments can reveal her desire to understand whether you are someone she can trust with her thoughts, her emotions, and eventually her heart. When you respond with confidence and emotional maturity, it can strengthen the connection because she sees qualities that create long-term attraction. Finally, let's talk about one of the clearest signs that a woman is deeply captivated by you. This sign is powerful, yet many men overlook it because it is rarely spoken out loud. It is the way she makes small sacrifices to be closer to you. And I am not talking about dramatic gestures, expensive gifts, or extreme actions. I'm talking about the small, almost invisible choices she makes every day that naturally bring you closer to the center of her attention. You may notice it in simple moments. Maybe she adjusts her schedule to spend time with you. Maybe she changes plans because being present with you has become important. Maybe she goes out of her way to include you in experiences that matter to her. It is not about feeling obligated. It is about natural prioritization. Her actions begin showing that your presence holds real value in her life. Even more revealing is the emotional effort she puts into understanding you. She remembers the small details you shared weeks ago. She remembers the story you casually told her. She remembers the things that made you laugh. She remembers the challenges you were facing, even if you never asked her for advice. And she responds in ways that show she was actually listening. She thinks about how you feel. She considers your perspective. She naturally adjusts her actions because your emotions matter to her. This is not something that can easily be forced. It is often a reflection of genuine emotional investment.